The Los Angeles Chargers will need to make several significant decisions this offseason. One of those decisions is whether to re-sign their star pass rusher. The Los Angeles Chargers have a few key names that will be in free agency this season. With that, the franchise will have some tough decisions ahead, letting go of talented players in hopes of getting it right in the draft or by signing players that could be potentially better is a risk. So one of those critical decisions to make is whether to re-sign their star pass rusher, Khalil Mack. Let's have a final look at what the Chargers' decision should be. What's up, Chargers fans? Welcome to the NFL Playbook Chargers. If you're new here, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. This channel is all about breaking down everything you need to know about the Bolts. Now, when the Chargers face a season-ending loss against the Houston in the wildcard round, Khalil Mack announced he might retire. This is what he said. Man, it's a lot of different thoughts in my head right now. I can't really speak on a definitive decision in terms of what I'm going to do because I don't know if I'm going to play football moving forward, so there are some things I got to talk through with my wife, spend some time with my kids, and try not to make a rash decision after a loss. Later in the postseason press conference, when Jim Harbaugh was asked about Mack, he showed intentions to retain him. Look what he said. I don't know if it's possible to get everybody back, but I want to get as darn close as possible, and nobody more than Khalil Mack. And now, according to Adam Schefter, ESPN, Khalil Mack will hold off retirement for another season and is expected to play in the 2025 season. So it is good news that Khalil is back, but it is still unsure whether he will join the Chargers or will look for another opportunity. It is really unfortunate that Mack's been to the postseason with 3 different clubs, but come up short of a playoff win each time. This is frustrating for him. Look what he said about this. I don't want to go out with a loss based on who I am. I definitely want to make that push and play some important games in the playoffs. I am trying not to think too much ahead, but give myself some time and a grace period to think things through. So now, coming back to the question of whether he is coming back with the Chargers or not, Mack even gave a hint on this. It was a special year understanding what he has done in the short time he has been here and the potential in the building. The growth is inevitable. It was impressive what we were able to do and squeeze out. He further said, as long as Justin Herbert is your quarterback, you got Derwin James and all these guys that love the game of football. And Jim Harbaugh coaching, you know you always have a chance to win. Yeah, that's a no-brainer. So it hints the Chargers are interested, Mack is interested, but we do not have a clear statement from either side. Now, let's discuss whether the Los Angeles Chargers should re-sign star edge rusher. No doubt, Mack has been one of the best edge rushers of his era. A 9-time Pro Bowler and 3-time All-Pro, Mack's return would be a veteran presence the Chargers may need at the position. The former first-round pick has spent 3 seasons with the Chargers, and in all 3, Mack has earned a Pro Bowl selection. While Mack did earn a Pro Bowl selection this season, the 2024 campaign was not a season that Mack is used to having. He finished with just 6 sacks on the season. That total ties the second lowest of his career. Mack is going to be 34 years old this February, and unless you're LeBron James, father time comes for everyone. Keeping an aging pass rusher on a big contract could be the wrong decision. Another significant factor to consider is the financial cost of retaining him. Khalil Mack had a 1-year contract with the Los Angeles Chargers for the 2024 season, valued at $19.2 million. It is important to know that Mack agreed to reduce his salary from $23.25 million to $19 million. So this financial commitment could limit the team's flexibility in addressing other critical needs. For a roster that showed vulnerabilities in key areas during the 2024 season, such as the offensive line and secondary, investing heavily in an aging edge rusher might not be the most prudent allocation of resources. By choosing not to re-sign him, the Chargers could free up valuable cap space to pursue younger, ascending players in free agency or the draft. And you cannot ignore another major factor, and that is age. While Mack has defied expectations by maintaining a high level of play into his early 30s, the reality is that edge rushers often experience a decline in production as they approach their mid-30s, and we just witnessed this in the 2024 season. However, when you look at the bigger picture, re-signing Khalil Mack makes perfect sense for the Chargers. His leadership and experience are invaluable, especially with Jim Harbaugh bringing in a new system. Mack's presence alone elevates the entire defense, and his mentorship of younger players is something you can't put a price tag on. Sure, his sack numbers dipped in 2024, but Mack's impact goes way beyond the stat sheet. His ability to set the edge against the run and command double teams creates opportunities for others. The Chargers should structure a team-friendly deal that works for both sides, maybe a 2-year contract with incentives that reward performance, while giving the team some flexibility. This would keep their defensive cornerstone in place while they build around him. At the end of the day, championship teams need players like Khalil Mack. He's shown he wants to be here, loves the organization, and believes in what Harbaugh is building. Sometimes the best moves aren't about the numbers. They're about keeping your leaders, your playmakers, and your culture setters right where they belong. So, what's your thought? Should the Chargers re-sign Khalil Mack or look for someone cheaper in free agency or maybe in the upcoming draft?